That amplified unit is a chocolate sprinkled donut. Probably delicious to many, but I stormed into this Dunkin' Donuts and I ordered a chocolate donut, not a chocolate sprinkled donut. There's a difference. Listen, I don't make the rules. They are as such, and I follow them. Chocolate donut, please, not chocolate sprinkled. I don't want sprinkles on my donut. I just don't. I don't make the rules. Just like an apple and spice donut is different than an apple crumb donut. A regular glazed, different than a French curler glazed donut. See what I'm saying? So now, not only do I look like the lunatic screaming in his motor vehicle by every passerby, but now I also have a chocolate sprinkled donut. So if you add some glitter on my face, I must look like a fucking fairy right now. Now I'm still gonna eat it because it's fucking delicious. But how do these people mess it up? They're right next to each other. Never did I say the word sprinkles. Do I look like a dude that wants sprinkles on his donut? Do I look like a guy that would order sprinkles? Sprinkles? Coffee is on point though. Extra cream, extra sugar, dose of espresso, a little touch more added in, just so we can get extra amped. As if I need it. And we're gonna talk a little bit of wrestling today. I got about a half an hour. I want to talk Becky Lynch in the direction that they have for her when she comes back. And you'll be a fucking amazed, man. Is this really the best direction that you want to have Becky come back in? We're gonna talk about it. Finn Balor saying he's coming back to NXT. But wait till you hear the reason. The real reasoning is just mind-boggling to me. And it's sad. The rise and fall of Finn Balor. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about Adam Cole, baby. And why he said last night, why he said he doesn't know what his future holds. And you want to know why that is? It's fucking tragic. We're going to talk about it. And we're also going to talk, what the fuck else are we going to talk about? AJ Styles and Omos. Why haven't you seen them since they won the fucking titles? Oh, wait till we talk about that shit and what I'm hearing. We're going to eat our sprinkled fucking donut. We're going to down our coffee. We're going to get super amplified. And for the next half an hour-ish, let's shoot the shit. Who cares what you got to do? Procrastinate. Wait on that shit. This takes precedent. It's the Amplified Man on the Amplified channel with the Amplified unit. Let's get amplified! Alright. Red team, go! Hey, yo, Ant-Man, where are you headed today? Yo, B, you know where we bouts to rock. We rockin' the roads of America, and we gonna cascade that sumbitch to its core. We packing the pythons. We're distributing the delts, and every single sumbitch shall feel the amplification. But first, we shall talk some professional wrestling because that's what BC Amplified wants to do during his coffee time this morning. It's about 52 degrees right now, early morning tri-state area, and it's about to hit 85 degrees within the next 4 hours. Now that's not a joke. 57 degrees to 85 in 4 hours. It's nearly 30 degrees. That's unthinkable. You're wearing the vest right now, and you're about to be on the fucking Jersey Shore in 4 hours. But not BC. I would love to be on that shore. But BC has to handle his business. He has made arrangements and plans and prior commitments, business endeavors, and they must be met because BC is a man of his word and he He handles his business. Now, you see, every professional wrestling fans, more specifically WWE, I'm sure we all wish that Vincent Kennedy McMahon was that type of person that handled his business. Not just when it's sucking every fucking penny and dime out of what audience remains, but actually producing good shows, actually caring about the talent that is on his roster right now and making sure they become the best to their capabilities and what they're capable of for his company. But Vince McMahon does not do that. And it's never more evident than AJ Styles and Omos. You can pick anybody on that roster and see clearly that McMahon doesn't handle his biz correctly. But Omos, I call him almost. Almost. The fuck is Omas? And AJ Styles, they win the tag titles at WrestleMania. I said from the jump, that was a dumbass fucking match. It's a non-existent tag division anyway, so now you're just throwing Styles and Omas in there. Omas has never even had a match. Never one match. And he gets a title match at WrestleMania. I thought it was dumb as fuck anyway. I don't care about Grand Slam championships for AJ Styles or any of that. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid, and it lowers any prestige that are with the tag titles. It ruins it. It's not existent just as much as the tag division right now, those titles. As bad as the women's championships? Maybe just as. So not only was it stupid to have them in the match, but then they win it, they get the titles. So now you have what you had Cedric and Shelton lose the championships in the middle of a Monday Night Raw a couple months ago. And then the New Day loses them to fucking Omas and AJ Styles at Mania a month and a half later. That is how you're booking championships. Within just 3 months' time, everybody's getting a fucking turn. Even people that are not even a team. They get thrust together, they get a championship, and it is clear there's no direction. There's no fucking path. There's zero. You haven't even seen Omas and AJ Styles on the Raw after Mania, or last week's Raw, or this week's Raw. Nothing. No injuries. No injuries, other than nagging. No surgeries, nothing that requires multiple weeks off. You know what we're hearing, guys? Oh, and it's what we already knew, by the way, but now it's just being confirmed. Omas just needs more time to train. I'm going to say that again because this is a guy with a fucking championship! And people say, BC, you're the bad... BC, you're the reason WWE and pro wrestling isn't as fun anymore because you always talk all this negative shit. What do you want me to say? With a talent roster that we have right now and that we've had for 5-10 years, the talent that is on this roster, and your champion can't even wrestle yet! And I'm a bad guy! Now, I'll be the bad guy. I'll be the boogeyman. I'll be the dude that wears the black hat in the community. That's fine. I am. And I shall wear that hat with pride. Full of joy, in full amplification. But don't lie to yourself. This shit sucks. The decisions that are being made, we know way in advance are horrible. Like Rhea Ripley just showing up to Raw. Hadn't been seen in a fucking year on the main roster before that. In the one match that she lost to Charlotte Flair. So she just shows up and she says, I want a title match. And at Mania, she gets a title match with Asuka. First match back on the roster. And she actually wins the title. But we knew from the jump, day one, that's a horrible decision. Most of us with brains in our fucking dome piece that know about pro wrestling knew that Daniel Bryan being thrusted to Edge and Roman and making a triple threat lowers the value of the Royal Rumble, lowers the prestige of a championship, and it no longer makes the match fun. A potential dream match to many, just so we can get the audience to scream yes. But a lot of sheep and casual fans and inter-nerd dweebs fell for it. And when Mania went off the air, all you remember from Bryan is some yes chants. Yeah, it really made the match better. You had Rhea Ripley and what happened with her at Mania. And Daniel Bryan at Mania. And then you add Omas winning a fucking championship. All these things we saw from day one. So if a big part of your audience, your base, can see the mistakes happening in real time, how the fuck does this dude not see it? And no, We don't blame Bruce Pritchard on this fucking channel, or Kevin Dunn, or Creative Dipshit 612, or 519, or Do Nothing Debbie in Stamford, Connecticut for the reception area. No! We're not gonna blame the fucking janitor. We're not gonna blame the cafeteria head. We're not gonna blame maintenance man Mike. It is Vince McMahon. When something is this bad, week after week, month after month, year after year, you blame one man, Vince McMahon. This type of shit has to stop. If a guy cannot wrestle, here's a crazy concept from the mean guy on YouTube. What if? Crazy concept. Even if you don't like BC, that's fine. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me, dude. I got huge fucking muscles, and I'm a fucking maniac. Take your fucking seat or I'll place you there. But you gotta be real. Crazy concept. How about if a guy cannot wrestle, don't give him a championship? I know. Loony idea. Loony. But what if we tried that? What if you actually train the guy before he gets to a main roster on national television, before you thrust him into Mania, and before you have him win a championship? Now at Mania, it was heavily rehearsed, just like they did with Bad Bunny. So Omas looked good. He looked like a beast. That's how you have to book him. I didn't know he literally couldn't wrestle a fucking lick, to the point where you can't even have him on your show. That's bad. That's sad. That's tragic. It's gotta stop. That's the real reason you ain't seen Omas and AJ Styles. I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you. They're trying to train this guy so he can actually wrestle. Because for the 2-month build leading in, or lack thereof, there was no fucking build, they were heavily rehearsing everything with Omas. Now, they're like, fuck, WrestleMania's over. We have to actually put him into something. We have to actually have him in matches with Styles. One of the best wrestlers in the world, AJ Styles, still to this day, is now attached to the hip with a guy who can't wrestle at all, so Styles can't even be shown on TV. How are you okay with that? How? Are you fucking that stupid? That's almost as bad. It's almost as bad as Cryback, putting up a fucking thing on his little Twitter. What promotion should I go to? AEW, Japan, Impact, and then he added last second, or should I retire? What did he think was gonna happen? Nobody wants to see Cryback in any promotion. Just so we can regurgitate, feed me more, feed me more. I'm Ryback, look at me. 5 moves of doom. Move over, Cena. Nobody needs to see. AEW needs Cryback? Stop. Really, dude? AEW doesn't need... AEW needs to stay clear from Cryback. Like a bad case of fucking herpes. Stay away from that shit. Impact Wrestling. What name value is Cryback bringing to you? Stop. Not seeing the mistakes that Vince is making, they're huge. They're not even minuscule. Putting a championship on a guy who can't wrestle, it is as stupid as one of Cryback's stupid Twitter polls. Shit needs to stop. It needs to end. Champions should be guys who are at the top of the game. No hot potato. Real champions taking on true #1 contenders. No more triple threat schmazes or fatal 4-ways or very rare. What did I tell you guys when Bryan got put into this match at Mania with Edge and Roman? I said, now we open up the floodgates. You're going to see a lot more of it now with the championships. Sure enough, here we are. 1 month later at the next pay-per-view, WrestleMania Backlash. Another triple threat, Strowman, McIntyre, Lashley. And it's not going to end. I won't be surprised if that turns into a fatal 4-way somehow. You're going to start seeing battle royals for the heavyweight championship. Because fans don't care anymore. They don't care about a champion versus a fucking #1 contender. And that's what needs to change, man. You're letting Vince McMahon off the hook. And you don't even give a fuck. You're too busy over here going, Bruce Pritchard! I woke up today with a headache. Fucking Bruce Pritchard! What do you mean an asteroid is about to hit Earth in 2050? Fucking Bruce! I stubbed my toe on the dresser! Bruce! What the fuck, Pritchard? You can blame everybody underneath Vince all you want. You're letting the guy off the hook, and he's gonna keep making these fucking decisions because your attention span is all over the place. You're blaming people you have no fucking idea what they're even doing day to day. You don't. You hear they have a fancy title, and you're like, fuck them! I can't stand fans that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but try to act like they know what they're talking about. The old man has to change everything that he is doing. Everything. He was once a fucking genius, and he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. That's the truth. And now we have a guy holding a championship with one of the best wrestlers in the world, and said dude can't even wrestle. But he's holding a title. And now one of the best wrestlers in the world can't even show up because he's tied at the hip with him. He's attached at the hip. Nobody sees that there's a fucking problem with this? That's my opening rant. That's Omas and AJ Styles. Maybe after this rant, maybe we'll get them next week on Raw. Right? Maybe I'll open up a can of worms and people will start asking, oh yeah, where is AJ Styles and Omas? I didn't even realize they were gone. Yeah, imagine that. You're champions and nobody even fucking realizes because AJ Styles was irrelevant for an entire fucking year and Omas, we haven't even seen anything from this dude. Becky Lynch. You guys hear about Becky Lynch now, man. She's supposed to come back to the Raw brand and take Rhea Ripley's championship. So all the ladies that have been busting their ass, Rhea Ripley just shows up and gets the title, and then Becky is just going to show up and get the title. So I don't think that's the best way to go for Becky. I don't think it's going to gain her the reaction that I'm sure she would like and the company would like for her. She has a base of fans, but she's cooled off dramatically. A. B, we all know she's a mom now. I mean, you're not going to see badass Becky Lynch like she was before when she's fucking breastfeeding and changing diapers, and it's going to be different. You guys know this. Just like it would be a dude as a fucking father. It changes you. Daniel Bryan admits now. It changed him. In fact, today, Bryan wants to be with his kids more than he wants to wrestle. That's huge. He said that, and you guys told me he did an interview where he said he should not have been a part of that WrestleMania match. Vince made him do it. He tried to get out of it because he knew it wasn't the right decision. Just basically giving BC the old pat on the back. You were right, kid. Daniel Bryan just went national and said BC was right. But I didn't need any validation. I knew I was correct. I knew he shouldn't have been in there. But D-Bry admittedly says, man, it changed him. The passion wasn't quite there like it was. We're hoping that's not the case for Becky, but we've seen a lot of women and men come back from having a kid, and they're just changed. The priorities are different, as they should be, and there's just not that edge that was once there. No pun intended to Adam Copeland. We'll see. But she's going to have to be booked really properly to get that type of momentum back. Very properly. And they already stole the fucking gimmick that she once had with Charlotte again last week when she beat up an official. But that was ruined this week when she was already reinstated. Because she apologized. So you can beat the fuck out of officials and you can be wrestling and beating Mandy Rose the very next week. Sounds good to me. Why not just beat up officials then? But that was Becky's kind of gimmick. Now that's being taken by Charlotte, that edgy... I don't know. You ever just show up and take a title, it's going to rub people the wrong way. Why not insert her into a badass storyline? Nothing to do with a title, right? If you want Becky to get a title, work your way back up to it. There's nothing wrong with storylines. I said this in yesterday's stream, which, by the way, everybody who caught that, we went up live at around 6:37 p.m. last night before NXT. And we had hundreds live, thousands afterwards joined in. And we had a ball, man. I haven't been able to talk to you guys in several days before that. A lot of business, a lot of traveling, but I was able to squeeze in a live stream. Even while NXT was on the airwaves, we were still live. I couldn't get everything in time because you guys were just awesome with the supers and showing the love and support. So I'm like, hey, let's stay on the air, man. But we had an awesome live stream yesterday. If you missed it, check it out. We went over the Raw review for this week, just late. And we went over a lot of other stories too. The NHL coming to Turner Broadcasting, what this means for AEW. We talked about the Mickie James trash bag incident. Everybody else under the sun has talked about it except for BC, so I addressed it yesterday. So check that out if you missed it. But we talked in yesterday's live stream about how people like the Big Boss Man back in the day, he was never really tied to a title picture, but he was always in relevant storylines, and he was always people like BC's favorites, among the favorites. The Undertaker, if you look at the bulk of his career, only toward the tail end it changed a little bit. For the bulk of Undertaker's career, though, he wasn't attached to a title scene, but he was always in some of the biggest, best storylines and always one of our favorites. You don't necessarily need to be attached to a title scene. Just be booked properly in awesome storylines. I think that's the best bet for Becky. What BC is hearing is that she's supposed to come to the Raw brand and take that title from Rhea from the jump. I don't think that's the right decision. Let me know what you guys think, man. And, you know, maybe you just want to see her come back and just end Rhea's title reign because Rhea just isn't doing it for you. I feel you. Rhea isn't doing it for me either. That's no shade to her. It's just not working. And again, we got off on the wrong foot when she just said, I want a title match with Asuka. Gets it. Beats Asuka. Poor Asuka can't get her Mania victory because we want to give a title of fucking Rhea. And is the main goal just to give it to Becky when she comes back? She's done with her pregnancy. Let me go get a title back. Because I'm the man. I'm not buying it, man. I'm just not, you know. Talk about losing a little bit of your edge once you have a kid. What about Ronda Rousey? Once deemed the baddest female on the planet. The baddest woman on the planet. She's now having a kid, man. Congrats to Ronda. That's fucking awesome. Her and Travis, I believe, is his name. So we wish she's been trying a long time. She's a good kid, man. She really is. She rubs people the wrong way, but you know, she had a lot of issues growing up, and that kind of shapes what and who you become. Not to get too deep with you guys, but she's a good soul. She's a good person. So I'm proud of her. I'm glad. I'm happy for her. But how is she going to be? She is coming back to WWE. I'm telling you right now. She is that's 1,000,000% confirmed. It's not if, it's when. And how is she going to come back after she has her kid? We don't know, man. Becky will be kind of the blueprint for that. And maybe down the road one day we'll get that one-on-one. We all know what happened a couple years ago when Charlotte Flair, triple threat. This is what this company does. Triple threat. They ruin dream matches with triple threats. Fuck Edge and Roman. We need yes chance. And then they come up with some weird fucking... Edge is looking old. I don't think he can wrestle Roman anyway. It's going to be a bad match. All the riveting moments were just Roman and Edge. Daniel Bryan actually ruined the fucking match, if you ask BC. Charlotte Flair gets added to fucking Becky and Ronda. We don't need anybody. It's Becky and Ronda. Just let them go. No, we got to have the golden child. I don't know, guys. I have Becky Lynch coming back. Storyline, away from the championship. Build her up. Let's see what she's got. Let's see the appeal, the attention, the accolades, the reception that she gets over the 3, 4, 5, 6 months that you build a couple of stories with her, and then we can progress and start talking about titles. That's how BC would do it. We see what happens when people rush it. You rush it right into a championship. It's not always a good thing, man. In fact, most of the time it's going to have the adverse effect. Adam Cole! Baby! He recently talked, he was by poolside having an interview. And yet, what was it, last night's NXT, and he said he doesn't know what the future holds, and how dare we even try to pry into that information. But, the truth be told, Adam Cole, storyline-wise, is saying he doesn't know what his future holds because WWE doesn't know what his future holds. They really don't. Zero plans for this dude. If you were going to put him on the roster, the Raw after Mania is supposed to be the funnest, where we get awesome big debuts, and hopefully, if business is being done correctly, which it isn't with VKM 99.99% of the time, but if it is running on track and on course, you would have something planned for that Adam Cole debut. No, Flux. If Adam Cole shows up to the main roster, it's going to be on some random-ass Monday Night Raw where they're pulling in a 1.5 rating, so nobody even gets to fucking see it. And he'll probably be losing by SummerSlam anyway. Would it matter? If he stays on NXT, what's left for this dude to do? Keep having matches with the Undisputed Era, I guess. He alluded to the fact that he can take the title off Cross anytime he wants, but it's not the right timing. But is Adam Cole versus Karrion Kross the right decision? Of course not. Look at their characters. Kross should be a fucking bad guy. Period. Bad guy. Heel. Period. Adam Cole, right now, playing that heel fucking character to the 10th degree. Perfect. I don't want to see Kross and Cole anytime in the near future. So what do you have this dude do? He's wrestled everybody 10 different ways, week after week. You can't be scared to go to the main roster, but at one point you gotta say, what more is there for me to do? I gotta move aside and let other people shine. You can't be like John Cena and hold everybody down. Johnny Gargano should have been on the fucking main roster or somewhere. Something needed to change for Gargano. This guy was the talk of the town with Tommaso Ciampa and NXT. They're not anymore. Don't fool yourself. I've been watching NXT from day one. I remember the prestige that Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa had. They overstayed their welcome. It's time to move on in your career. And I see that happening now with Adam Cole. If there's not a change, you're staying there and being redundant. You say, oh, I don't want to see Johnny Gargano and Tommaso and Adam Cole on the main roster. Vince will ruin them. You could be right, man. In fact, good possibility. But you don't know if you unless you try, man. When you're really good at what you do, you can overcome Vince McMahon's bad fucking booking. On the NXT brand, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole being there, it just feels like a shell of what they once were. The storylines, the care and the anticipation for their matches at takeovers, it's not there anymore. You guys know I'm right. But they dropped the ball. It should have been the Mania or the fucking Raw after Mania. And now they don't know. So now Adam Cole is in flux, and I wouldn't doubt if he just stays in NXT. But what's it really adding? You got another really great wrestler on a brand that has a lot of great wrestlers, but the care is falling by the wayside. You guys saw it last night with NXT. You got all the talent in the world. It didn't feel like an important show. You're not remembering anything other than maybe Ted DiBiase and Cameron Grimes, because I love Ted DiBiase, one of the best growing up. And I love Cameron Grimes' work right now to see them interacting, the old and the new. I love that shit. But there wasn't a lot of memorable moments, man. There wasn't a care. There wasn't a reason you had to tune in next week. It's not. So these guys staying there, what's it really doing? You only have 2 hours every single week. And you have dudes that have been there for years taking up that time. If they still felt as important as they once did, I'd be on board with it. I think there's time for progression. I would love to see Adam Cole in WWE having matches with, if he's a face, Seth Rollins. If he's a heel, Kevin Owens. I think that's the perfect way to debut him on SmackDown in a feud with Kevin Owens. Not in any title picture. No, we're not just going to thrust him into a title scene. Fuck that shit. Nobody deserves a sentence like Monday Night Raw. Nobody deserves that fucking prison sentence. Put him on SmackDown and have him feud with Kevin Owens for an entire season. A couple of pay-per-views. That would be fun, bro. Old school Kevin Owens NXT versus new school Adam Cole on the main roster on SmackDown. Vince doesn't have to lift a finger or care about it at all. Just let them do what they do. But it's time to move on. And I say the same thing for the next dude I'm going to talk about, Finn Balor. This dude's in flux, and it looks like the last word we got, he's coming back to NXT, guys. Right back to NXT. No, not going back to the man. We thought this was just, hey, fucking clear your head, get some traction, help some dudes out in NXT, come back. No, he's staying there. And you say, again, just like we say with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso and Adam Cole, baby. And now with Finn Balor, dude, you don't want him on the main roster. Vince will just ruin him anyway. Yeah, but they're clogging 2 hours of NXT. They only get 2 hours. There's a lot of dudes and gals that needs that time, and these dudes are just being redundant now. Dudes like that should not be in NXT. They need to be rocking the mainstream, even though it's a 1.7 on Raw. That's fucking ludicrously bad. It's still 1.7. SmackDown 2.1-ish, usually. These names need to be on that stage. Not in front of a crowd that's getting 600 to 700 to 800,000 viewers, if you're lucky. So Balor now looks like he's staying in NXT. What are you doing with the dude? So he's just going to be his really tight trunk Balor, pop collar Balor, good old big smile. Prince Devitt, Prince Balor, whatever you want. I don't know. How do you drop the ball on this guy? This guy was a larger-than-life superstar in WWE's main roster as the Demon. I understand if he doesn't want to play the Demon that often. He doesn't want to rest on it like a crutch, is his words, I believe. That's cool. Okay. But business-wise, Finn, it makes sense to use the Demon because it's fucking awesome. It's not just going to help you, Finn. It's going to make the fans fucking more invested. And it's going to help the company you work for. It's going to help the shows in your program that you're working. It's going to help the individual you're working with. You can't be foolish, stubborn, and ignorant here. The Demon, there is no reason that for years the Demon has not been seen. And I don't give a fuck if Vince didn't want to tie it too close to The Undertaker or too close to what Bray Wyatt's Fiend character was going to be. No, there's enough pieces of the pie for everybody. He could be the Demon. There's no reason we shouldn't see the Demon at least 3 times a year. At least. I'll give you 2 to make it even more special. But 0 for years? Because you don't want to rest on it as a crutch. And because of that, anybody that doesn't watch NXT, they forgot who the fuck Finn Balor is. NXT has only pulled in roughly 6 to 650,000 in the past couple of years while being on USA. That's the truth. Now that they're unopposed on Tuesday nights, I believe they pulled 850 last week, and maybe they can hit closer to 1 million this week. Maybe not. Maybe they stay around 800,000. The point is, small percentage is watching Balor do his fucking thing. When you could have this guy as a larger-than-life character, even with his size. His size! He looks like he's 5'9", a $175 soaking wet, but he's got a character that captivates. We don't see that often in pro wrestling. But he's got it. It's sitting in his fucking lap. And he and Vince, they refuse to do anything with it. So now he sits there in NXT. And he did his business. Karrion Kross took the fucking title. That's it. Finn now goes to the main roster. Sink or swim. You're damn right he could get booked badly like everybody else. He could be another fucking Ali. Or Murphy. Could end up like an Andrade and hightailing it. Possible. But you don't know unless you just you gotta evolve, man. You can't be scared to go to the main roster. Sink or swim. Sink or swim. It's simple. You can't stay stagnant because that's what NXT feels like right now, even with the talent that they have. You ain't gonna sit here and tell me Johnny Gargano feels more special now than he did 3-4 years ago. In fact, it got devalued with a championship or without. Tommaso, the same thing. They were on cloud 9 just a few years ago. Now they're on cloud 6, maybe? This guy has a character that people gravitated to. And we don't even see it for years. The guy's fucking in NXT, loses the championship, and then says, I'm coming back. And what are you going to do? You're going to try to reclaim it? Riveting. It is crazy to see the rise and fall of Finn Balor. Pull your head out of your ass and dome the Demon once again. Be the superstar you can be, bro! Don't be a fucking idiot! It's almost about a half an hour. I think we went over a half an hour, guys. That's what I do. I talk pro wrestling, have a good coffee. Sometimes we last longer than we supposed to. That's what she said. Much love, respect, guys. Think, be, live, amplified always. You got AEW tonight. Hopefully it's a good show. Maybe if I got time, maybe I'll talk about it, man. I would like to do another stream this week, too. So, we've been gone for several days before yesterday's live stream, so I really want to pack in a lot of content for you guys to end the month strong. So we'll see, but keep sub to the channel, obviously. Always check back, too, man. You never know when I'm going to pop up with a live stream or a video. I'm very spontaneous. I don't plan this shit out. I got a lot of business and traveling in the world, so whenever I can put up a vid or whenever I just feel like it over a coffee, you guys are going to get full amplification like we just dropped right now. Go about that day and whoop its ass, man. Coffee's and ass whoopings, you know the deal. Amplified style, baby! And for now, check you later!